Hey, everybody. Got my friend Jason from Atlanta and Michelle from San Diego with us this evening. Thank
Hi,
y'all for
friends.
joining. Yes. And we are covering referrals, how to get them, how do you keep them, and how to maintain a positive sense of referrals without it look like it's cheerleading, for lack of better words. So, Jason and Michelle, I'm so glad that y'all came and joined me today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Happy to be here, my second time.
it is your
You let me
second.
back.
I'm glad that you're here too. Thank you. So, do you, either one of you have a funny story? I usually like to start with a funny or embarrassing story.
About anything?
Well, about real estate, but it could be about anything that could get fun.
Oh, I'm sure I do, but
So,
Jason, you can go first.
so I had one just the other day that a child that I was showing houses to the parents, and a 5 year old had asked me if they could use the bathroom. And I was like, sure, no problem. Let me make sure it has running water. Let me make sure you have toilet paper. And I checked, and then they did their business. But quickly came out to tell me that the toilet was overflowing and leaking everywhere. Everywhere. Not, I mean, not like exploding, but all over the bath. I mean, it was so that was disgusting. That was a disgusting story. The parents did get involved, thank God, because I didn't want to have anything to do with that. But we got it cleaned up and got it fixed. But that was embarrassing and terrible, actually.
Wow.
I know, right?
It's scary when you go to show properties and they're vacant or, a few years back when we had a lot of vacancies and we had a lot of squatters. I
Mhm.
did go to a home that had a squatter in there, and of course I'm the agent, so I feel like, I have to protect my clients. I'm like, you're you're like 6'3", so you're going first. You out because I'm not doing
Protect your clients by pushing them in front of you.
that. I'm like, you go first, we'll be behind you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that is scary when you've got squatters, or had it one time with renters that were in the home and they didn't want to show the home. And every time I unlocked the door, it relocked like within a second. So I'd unlock it and it'd relock, and then I'd unlock, and we went back and forth 5 or 6 times. And finally, I was like, I'm not going in. Apparently, they don't want us, and I'm not doing it. Jason, are you perfect, or have you ever had an embarrassing story
I have a
yourself?
lot of stories I can't say live.
Okay, fair enough. So then if we are going into the topic, then we are talking about referrals. Referrals, how to get them. And this originally we started talking about this, I think, Jason, with you primarily a couple of weeks ago when you were talking about how hard you work for referrals and how you go to the conferences and you meet these agents. And when I'm talking about referrals, of course, your clients and your friends and family are going to refer you, but I'm more talking about agent to agent referrals and how to get them. So, how do the two of you, both of your names pop up all the time? You're very widely known throughout Remax, throughout all the Instagram and Facebook, and you see your names being thrown out for referrals. How are you guys getting so many referrals?
I
Jason,
wouldn't say I'm getting so many, but I do want to throw something in just with the start for people who are watching who are not a realtor to make sure they understand if you're
Okay.
moving to another state, we can refer you to somebody anywhere. And if you're going to be listing your property where you're at now, it really makes more sense to have your agent refer you to somebody so they can work together to line up the closings. And you're going to need copies of your paperwork on selling your house. You may have to provide that as proof that your house is under contract on the other end. So when you're kind of working with those people on both ends, it just makes it easier.
But
um,
you're right.
but as far as getting the referrals, though, I'd say, having being a diamond team with Remax, of course, stands out. But I also get referrals from CHLMS and from CRS, from my non-Remax ones. And
Yeah,
I
see,
will,
that
and
is
anybody listening who's not Remax, CRS is going to be one of your best ones to try to get referrals.
agreed, and that is sort of certified residential specialist. So that is a really good one. I'm actually on the board for North Carolina for that one. And then although I never can remember the acronym, but that is for I've got that one too, but for your luxury marketing. What does
right.
that stand for? Certified luxury.
Certified luxury home marketing specialist.
Thank you. I've got that one too. It's just hard for me to remember what that acronym.
Say that one 3 times fast.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's different levels on that now too. So now I'm Elite Guild, which it makes you stand out a little bit more with that because you have to have sold a certain price level home. They are charging for that a yearly extra additional fee to hold that. However, the good thing about that is somebody who is not that serious about doing a lot of business that may meet the criteria. If they're not paying for it, they don't have that designation. So it's making it a little bit easier for people that actually want the business and want the referrals to stand out because it's a pretty hefty fee you've got to pay to keep the elite designation.
I think I have the elite designation too. Now I've got to go. I've definitely qualified for it. And I've
You
paid
need to
for
sign up for it if
everything.
you haven't.
Yes, it's a great site. So Jason and I met at Luxury in New Orleans, and I stayed and took the class, and I qualified for the elite status out of the gate. Luckily, I mean, San Diego's home prices are pretty high. So, but their website and referral source and is huge. It was very eye-opening for me to be exposed to that and what it offers for agents and luxury homes.
Right.
Yeah.
They actually, like, I'm happy with they give you free Facebook posts and you actually get some things with the designation aside from just the designation.
No, I became designated last year. I was at this year's in New Orleans as well, but I got my actual designation last year in Dallas, which I thought it was very good. I thought everything I learned there. I always like it when I come back and I've got some applicable, items that are easy to add to my daily course of work, right?
Right.
So then back to the referrals. So you got these designations, Jason, and because of those designations, you're able to get some referrals that way from across the
Right.
coast. Agents.
Yeah, because it makes you stand out. Because if you, of course, there's the Facebook groups that we're all familiar with, where people will go looking for names, and whether you're looking in a Facebook group or looking for an agent yourself online, you might find 10 good agents. Well, then maybe out of those 10 agents, you could say, okay, well, 5 of them are CRS, so I'm going to look at them. Well, only 2 of them are luxury designation, and only 1 of them's elite. Well, then sometimes you might stand out as the only agent. But even if you don't have that higher level designation, having more designations, you're going to make it. Because like me personally, when I'm looking for an agent to refer to, I'll look for all my criteria. And if I find somebody that's just, meets everything, I'll call. If I have a good conversation with them, I'll go ahead and send them the referral. If I'm not finding a lot of people that meet everything I want, I may call 2 or 3 and then choose someone from them. But what I don't like to do, and I'll upset some agents for saying this, the agents that they'll talk to like 3 agents and then also have their buyer talk to all 3 of them. It's just a lot of work for a referral. I think it's unnecessary. I like to do all the vetting and make it easier for my client. And then I tell my client, if you don't like the person I paired you with, let me know and I'll move on to the next one. But I'm not going to make my client do 3 interviews.
I would agree with you. Sorry.
Michelle,
I would agree with how you vetted. And I have a lot of appreciation and respect for that, Jason. That's awesome that you do that. I see agents that make a post and they'll take the first name that pops up and said, oh, I just passed on so-and-so's name and number. You didn't research them on Max Center. You didn't check their designations. What's their production? And you could very well be new to Remax. Maybe you don't have those designations, but you're top in your area. Interview that person. Spend 5 minutes on the phone and see if you even connect with this person. What are their hobbies? What do they do? Is this in line with the client you're setting them up with?
No, I 100% agree too, right? Because you could put it on social media. Who has an agent in Wilmington? And you're right. I think it's important. Well, for me, let's be clear. Anybody that I refer, whether it's a handyman, a painter, a lender, Atlanta Jason, I was going to say sales Jason, but that was messed up. Sorry. Jason sells Atlanta. We've got Michelle. I mean, no matter who I refer, I'm putting my name behind it. So it's very important for me to give you the best person in Atlanta or the best painter or the best contractor or the best agent in San Diego. It's real important because you're going to come back to me at the end of the day because I'm the person that you knew and trusted and who referred them.
There's one more thing I want to add to that too.
It's important to vet them.
It's not just that part. It helps when I'm the referring agent. It helps me as well. I've had several referrals recently where the referring agent would not talk to me on the phone. They were too busy. And this is the problem. I want to find out about the client. Why are they moving?
Yeah.
What kind of house are you selling of theirs now? So I can figure out what they like. And all I'm getting is a name and a number. Oh, call them. I don't have time to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to pay the referral, but I would do a better job for your client if you'd have a conversation with me and tell me about your client and what's going on.
Yeah, right. It's insane. Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves with agents right now is not returning phone calls because I don't care how busy you are. This is our job.
Is a free client. You better pick up that phone and take the call, do the interview. And you're right, my name's on it. I'm referring this to a client. My name is on that. I want to make sure this is the right agent to align them with.
That's right. So when you call, how do you vet them? Because I usually, before I pick up the phone to call anybody, I've seen what everybody says in all the social media. Then I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to see what kind of Google reviews you have. As much as I hate the Z word, I am going to go into Zillow to see how many sales you've had. I'm going to do some of my due diligence in the background before I ever call you. What about the two of you?
Well, I think, okay, one of the biggest things I do, which Michelle I know will appreciate and is going to want to add to this, the last referral I sent out, which hasn't gone anywhere yet, was to Angela Torrance. And when I checked in with her to make sure she covered the area, she actually lives walking distance to the listing. So my big thing is finding out, making sure that these, like I wouldn't send you, Jennifer, a Charlotte lead.
No, please don't. That's 4 hours.
I get tagged all the times in the group for like Savannah. Well, that's 6 hours from Atlanta for anybody who doesn't know. So making sure that they're in the service area is the first thing I look at before anything else. And now I'm gonna let Michelle add to that. But I know you want to.
Jason, I feel like you're egging her on for something good.
He is egging me on because Jason and I had this conversation and my blood was boiling one night. So thank you for being at the other end of this, Jason. I appreciate that. But don't take a referral if you don't work that neighborhood. If you live too far, but my grandma my grandma lived there and we would go there as a kid. You're not a child anymore and you don't market that neighborhood and you've only sold 6 within that county in the last 3 years. You're not the specialist.
That's right.
2, don't take the lead. Take a small referral and pass it on to somebody else that's in that neighborhood.
Agreed.
I would be so completely embarrassed to send this referral to somebody and have my clients then be passed off to someone else.
That's right.
It's totally different if, hey, Jason, I've got this referral. I know you've got a team of someone in your team. Can you do this? Totally different. Jason's hands-on. He's the lead. He's going to make sure my people are taken care of.
Right.
But I have learned, I've only been with RE/MAX for 3 years, not that long. The first year was a learning curve, figuring out the systems and awards and who the players of the game are.
Yeah.
But to take a referral that you're not going to work and pass on is not okay.
Yeah, that's
at all.
Especially when you've taken the time, like I said, like before I pass on a referral. Well, now I know a lot of agents because now I go to these conferences and I go to 8 or 9 conferences a year, and I feel like I really do have my finger on who are the good agents worldwide, really. But in the event that I don't have any in a specialized, localized area and I call and I vet them, you're absolutely right. I've spent 20 minutes to an hour trying to make sure I align everything perfectly. And if it's not, just be honest and say, I don't have time to help them, or I can't, or I don't recommend it, or I don't live in that area, whatever. But you're right.
Let me send you to so-and-so who does.
That's exactly
well, and another thing that kind of ties it, like for me, I have the team, and some people only want me to handle the referral myself. Now, if it's a listing referral, I will. If it's a buyer referral, it depends. And this is where I get further frustrated if they won't talk to me on the phone. I need to be able to match personalities and all with somebody on my team. And there are people on my team that, as a buyer's agent, they're actually going to do a better job than me.
Yeah.
Because they work, like Debbie is my number one agent on my team. She used to run her own chairman club team.
Oh, wow.
And like now she's at a stage in her life, she doesn't want to work as hard. But when she does get a luxury buyer, they're going to have her full attention because she's only going to be out with one buyer at a time.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
they're going to get better service from her. So it's like when I talk to them and I find out, like if it's a first time buyer, they're going to go with Kim on my team. Luxury buyers, Debbie. If they're looking at the lake, they're going to Holly. And if I don't have these conversations to figure, they just say, oh, I have a lead for Metro Atlanta. Well, first, I don't even know if I'm going to accept it because you might be talking by the airport over an hour away from where we are.
Yeah, that's right.
Or if you are in our area, then it depends on where, because all my team members live in different parts. And it might be something I'm going to work myself if I can, and I'm the right fit on the team. But I go over that and explain it.
But see, you're doing your homework. You're matching up,
expectations.
you're matching up the client with the right agent.
That's right.
And a lot of agents, and we were not going to have any control over that. When someone posts, hey, I need someone, and they just take the first name and send it off.
Well, I'll tell you
on them.
But
But
what drives me crazy is I know that locally there's Keller Williams, and Keller Williams has done this a lot. But there's one agent that her name gets posted on all the social media sites. And when I looked her up, she has sold 3 houses year to date. In the past 24 months, she sold 5. And she's not even from, like, she moved here 2 years ago and she has sold 5 houses in 10 years. Why the hell would you want to, like, but they have cheerleading groups on that Keller Williams where they'll pile on they have it just rotating through their system. If anybody comes on, that person gets so many.
Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with cheerleaders. I did want to be a cheerleader in high school. Everybody likes a cheerleader.
Well, I don't mean that. I just mean that you're just taking anybody, any name, it doesn't matter who they are, and just posting all these posts for them. A lot of times it's not even real posts that they at Keller Williams, they have bots doing it. But B, as an agent that bust her ass to sell 250 homes a year, it is very disheartening to see other names and then people not taking the time on the other end, right?
I'm not taking it seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, so if you need a referral anywhere in the United States, we do travel the world. I mean, I don't travel the world, but I travel the United States. And
not just the United States. We have RE/MAX agents almost everywhere.
We do, but I don't travel there. I'm saying I personally travel around to get to know as many agents as I can. And you're right, the people from Italy and Peru, I mean, they've come in Canada, a lot of Canadians come to a lot of conferences, and I've gotten to know them as well. But just in general, we have connections. So if you need referrals, let us know. We could put you, and we'll take time to vet the person to make sure that you are getting the best person in that area for your particular needs. But let's take a shift now. What is the market doing in your respective areas?
What is the market doing?
So just talk to me in general. Like, what are you seeing? Has it picked up? Has it slowed down? Like, you don't have to get specifics with me. You could just talk.
I pulled numbers for you, and like for Metro Atlanta, there's like no change. So
no change in a year?
Well, yeah. So the numbers are not caught up yet. They're from July. So I pulled July and last July. So we a year ago had a 2-month supply of inventory. Right now we have 2.2 months supply of inventory.
That's not changed much.
And last year in July, the median home price was $420,000. Now it's $420,710.
Oh wow! So you're definitely hit that plateau.
Yeah.
Wow. What have you seen, Michelle? Anything different?
Well, even though interest rates have increased, which is why a lot of buyers have, stepped aside, overall, our absorption rate is only about 1% or 2% different. But I'm pulling San Diego County as a whole. You've got the beach property, which is going to be much more expensive. And then you've got certain inland properties, and then closer to the border is going to be less expensive. So when you dissect it that way, inland and coastal, there's no inventory. So you're still getting multiple offers on properties.
Right.
I had a property in June. We were on the market 5 days. One of the most beautiful homes I've had. Listed it very aggressively, we thought, and listed at 2.2, and it sold for 2.635. I had 18 offers on it. It was insane.
Wow.
We don't have any inventory. We're seeing more condo and townhome sales because we have a little bit more inventory on those than we do single family. And if you're coming inland where I live, our median price throughout San Diego County is about $850, which is great. But you come inland, your median price in Poway, where I live, is $1 million.
Yeah.
That's for a starter. That still needs cosmetic work. But you go to the beach and you're looking at a 1-bedroom condo for $2 million.
Yeah, that's our beaches are not priced like they are there, but they are more expensive than if you go inland. But our prices, everything is continuing to go up. We have a little bit more inventory here in Wilmington. Bye, Trevor. Sorry, one of my teammates was just leaving. We have a little bit more inventory. Last year we were at 1.6 months. Now we're at 2.1 months. So we've seen that, but still, 2 months of inventory is not very much. It's still pretty much a seller's market, and the prices are continuing to go up, but only at about 5% right now, year over date.
Our average time on market is somewhere around 21 days, depending on coastal, inland, and then price point, but average is 21 days. But our absorption rate for July was 34%.
Oh, wow.
So we're still in a stronger seller's market given the lack of inventory, even though interest rates are up compared to last year. And last year at this time, we had the same absorption rate.
Oh, wow.
So one of the things I'll throw in there on the interest rates, what I'm seeing different. So if I list a great listing, it's gone in 24 hours. But if we move over to my new construction, the buyers do not want them till sod has been installed.
Yeah.
They're just sitting and they're worried, I think, about rates getting locked in, the house is not getting finished on time. And so once I get a finished house, it's sold. But I put them up for sale at drywall and nobody wants them until the end. It's very strange.
So then you think that skews your days on the market?
It does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I waited and listed them 100% finished, they'd go faster. But I do get some buyers that will buy them before that, but most of them are waiting.
Okay.
But you do a lot of new construction.
He does do a lot.
I do very minimal new construction.
Yeah, I'm with you, Michelle. Me either.
Yeah, but like I said, our resales are going quick. Now, the other thing that I'll say that's different on our resales, like I've got one right now that's at 1.3, and it's been on the market for pushing 2 months. And like I have 2 buyers interested in it right now.
Oh, wow.
One of the buyers saw it for the first time 3 weeks ago. This past week, they came back for a second look. And then they've asked for a survey and this and that. And the buyers are taking a lot longer to make decisions since it's slowed down a little bit because they realize we're not in a market where it's going to sell overnight now.
Right.
So they're really thoroughly making decisions. But, it's just back to a slower process.
I kind of like the opportunity to make a decision without feeling like manically rushed about it, right?
We have very minimal time still.
Yeah.
If the right property comes on and the agent prices it well, on a Friday, it will be gone and in escrow by Monday.
Yeah.
So any buyers that I have, I'm reminding them, look, you got to come in strong out of the gate with your offer because it will be gone.
That's
Now,
right.
other price points and other locations here in San Diego, again, it just depends on where. You have a week to make a decision. You can go back for that second look. You can ask maybe for some disclosures before making a final decision. But for the most part, you still have to get your offer in and be very strong out of the gate.
Yeah, and we can gauge it. So, do y'all use showing time in your markets?
We
They already gave up
do.
showing time. I wish. We're at Broker Bay and I hate
Well,
to.
because showing time is great because as a buyer's agent, you can see if the schedule's full. And
Mhm.
say it has been 2 days since you've shown it, you don't want to show it again, but you're thinking about doing an offer, you can go to make an appointment just to see if there's still a lot of showings reserved.
Yeah.
Right. If it's
And I
good,
can tell you the rookie agents are not doing that. I've had listings where people have sent me full price offers on houses that have been on the market for, sometimes a week or two, or even I had one that was on the market a month and they sent us a full price offer after a month. We would have negotiated, but a lot of the new agents, I think they think we're CarMax. They got their license in 2020 and here's the sticker. You can pay this or more.
Hey, it is so back to referrals and agents, man. It's so important to get a seasoned agent that knows what they're doing, right? I mean,
Especially in this changing market, because if you got licensed 3 years ago, this is what is completely out the window.
yeah,
Mhm.
it was funny, I had completely forgotten about it, but I got an offer in the other day about $10,000 above list price. And she was like, here, do you have any other? I had no other offers in. And I was honest that I had no offers in. And she still came up $10,000 above list price. And I was like, okay, thank you.
I had one
Well,
last
sorry for the
week.
buyers.
I had one last week. It was on 24 hours, and an agent sent me an offer 35,000 under, and I said, "We priced this aggressively." The next day, I got a full price offer, and I went back and countered them both to do my job. And the second buyer still came up 10 grand, and the other agent said, "Well, we gave you a cash offer." I said, "At the end of the day, my clients are still going to get their number."
Right. That's right.
And
That's
they waived appraisal and they
Now,
waived loan.
I will say in the lower price points, that has been making a difference on the cash. Like if you have a buyer in Atlanta who is looking like under 350 and have to do a loan, a seller with a $350,000 house here will take a 325 cash offer over like a 10,000 over finance, even when I can prove to them that my buyers have money, have relatives that can give them money if it doesn't appraise. That lower price point, for whatever reason, that's the only price point where I'm seeing sellers that are leaving a lot of money on the table because they're just reading a book by its cover and thinking, oh, we want to take and these are properties that would appraise for the higher amounts, but they're just going with
They're
cash.
nervous. They're nervous.
Mm-hmm.
They want the cash. They think it's the better deal.
yeah.
And I don't get it because to me, I think if you're selling say a $250,000 house, that's not a real high end house, and to you, it's $30,000. You think would be a lot of money.
That's a lot of money at that price.
30,000 on the table. But
That's a
I'm
lot
seeing
of
it
money.
because what I've been doing is with the buyers I'm having trouble getting properties for, I'm going back and tracking what the house is sold for compared to what we offer. And that's how I know what's going on with this.
That's really good too. And that's good information to provide, right? To any of these upcoming buyers to say, see, and then that's where you get back to the experienced agents
Yes.
that take that time, that do a little bit of that extra work to figure it out.
I had another buyer. It was a cute little townhouse, first time home buyer, well approved, 12 offers on the property. And I used an escalation clause out of the gate to make sure they knew my client was serious. I got countered with two other buyers. And I knew this agent and I have a relationship with this agent. And that made all the difference when it came down at the end of the day. And one of the other offers, we were at the same price point. And he's like, Michelle, I go, we will go 2,500 over that price point.
See, that's funny you say that because I got interviewed for an agent via Zoom the other day, and he was going to let me know by Tuesday. And he sent me an email today, and he said, "What do you do to make your offers get accepted above other people's?" And that is exactly. It's interesting as I said that, Michelle. I was like, sometimes it's just me. The fact I've been in real estate 17 years, the fact that I have a team, the fact that both of my children work for me, is very much of a family business. We have a really good reputation with agents within our marketplace. So a lot of, 99, I get 99% acceptance rates when I submit an offer, but a lot of times it's just based on our I mean, it is, let's be clear, it is the price. It is the funding, what type of loans, whether it's cash or FHA, the time frame. There are a lot of variables that sellers have to work through, but part of that variable is who is the agent on the other side.
Let
I
me
think
pull us back to referrals for a minute with the relationships.
do it.
So I'll give you all a story this is from about 12 years ago on a referral that I
I'm
sent
just
out.
saying, you don't harbor resentment, do you, Jason?
No, but this person's never going to get a referral from me again. Because at the end of the process, I followed up through the whole process and they thought I was being annoying and actually literally forgot I sent the referral and didn't want to pay me at the end. They thought I was a parachuting agent. I had to go back and resend all the paperwork they signed when I sent them the referral.
Wow.
Do not do that when you're receiving referrals.
No, and it's like shooting yourself in the foot, because why wouldn't you pay? It's funny because I do opposite. Like if I get a referral, I drive that person that sent me a referral crazy, because I call them every Monday just to give them an update on I haven't met with them, or I have. This is our conversation. This is what I've done. But I call them once a week just to let them know that their clients are in really good hands and what I'm doing for them.
Well, and again, if you have the listing, that's where I would also go ahead and contact the agent and say, hey, we're under contract. Do you need a copy of the contract for the purchase on the other end, and be working with them? But I never want to be that agent. So when I have a referral come in, I go ahead and tell my assistant to go ahead and start a file on that person with the referral agreement. I make sure when they send the commission agreement for me to sign on the deal that the referral's on there, that it's on the CD, that nothing's missing on there. And I follow up the agent, tell them, hey, we're closing next week. Be expecting your check in the mail. But oh, you sent me this? I don't want to pay you. Oh, that is my signature.
My first year here at Remax, I sent a referral out to Arizona, and after it closed, everything was fine. I was going to R4, and I messaged the agent and said, are you going to be at R4? And she's like, who is this?
Ouch.
Nobody you're going to hear from again. That's who.
Yeah.
So I have new partners in Arizona, but when I get a referral, I always send a thank you card. I always let them know, hey, I met with your client. We talked on the phone. Here's where we're at. We got into escrow. Here's our close date. If the client starts to get flaky, hey, looks like they're getting cold feet, they're on the back burner, maybe in a couple of weeks, let the agent know, hey, I followed up every Monday with them. They're kind of waiting to see what happens with the market. But I give constant feedback to whoever gave me that referral, so they can check in with their client, friend, family, and say, hey, I talked to Michelle. I understand this is what's happening.
Well, it makes it a smoother process for everybody, right? If you have
it also makes you look better, that you know who you passed it on to. Hey, I talked to Michelle. You guys aren't going to look now. What's going on? Can I help you?
That's right.
I want to keep Jason involved when he sends me a referral.
That's right.
So he can reach out to his clients and say, congrats, I'm so excited you got into escrow.
That's exactly. And if I have the listing too, I'll shoot over all of my marketing
contact
with the other agents, so they could post it everywhere as well, which everybody always likes to see. Just more exposure. But no, I agree with you. So what is advice that you would give? What advice do you give your buyers and sellers and agents when they are looking for a referral, when they want to move to Florida?
So if they're questioning why they should have you set them up with somebody, one of the things I point out to them is, sure, you could do your own research, but there's additional information I can pull up about other Remax agents, and the club levels and all don't make any sense to you, but I can actually understand their production, understand what they're doing, and make sure that I really get you with somebody who is appropriate for you. And they love to hear that, because again, they're just looking at all these names. And again, as you mentioned, there could be somebody who sold 3 houses this year, but has an amazing website.
Yeah, that's it.
But I have this amazing Remax referral family that I would love to connect you with. And
they do, again, like when we see them, because I'll tell them, like when we're at one of these conferences, oh, hey, I'm going to see whoever I referred you to this week or who I want to refer you to. I'm going to go meet with them. And they do
Well, I always think it's fun, like too, when I have like client parties, I'll take a picture of me and the client and send it to the referring agent and say, hey, look who's with me now. We just wanted to say hey to you. But then funny enough, also I do it the other way around, right? When I'm with the agent, like Sandy McAlpine's one of them, she sent me one of her best friends. So whenever I'm with Sandy, I'll take a picture with Sandy and send it to her friend and say, hey, we're just talking about you and thinking about you and I hope you love your new house. So it's kind of fun to follow up that way as well.
It's fun. I actually just did that, Jennifer. I sold a house to who I consider to be like my son. I only have 3 daughters. So Daniel and his partner bought a condo with me. And the whole time they're talking to me about this friend, Jorge. And he's with Remax. And I'm like, I don't know Jorge. But I know Jorge.
There's only going to be one Jorge. I love me some Jorge.
But I love him. And so we all took a picture and sent it out to him. And then we got to meet at Luxury. So then we took a picture together and sent it to Daniel and John. And now we've got this amazing connection together.
That's right.
Well, the other thing I like about the conferences, there might be a city where maybe I know 3 really good agents I've met at the conferences, but there's differences. And if I have somebody moving their city, I might know that one of them is going to be the better personality fit. Even if all 3 of them do a lot of business and all sell in that area, I know, no, this is the one that needs to be with this particular client.
And that's why we have to vet our client and the agent we're matching them with, just like you do with your team. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like enough agents do their homework. Even if you want to call it cheerleading, guess what? Michelle got 10 people who commented. I have worked really, really hard to establish myself with Remax and make these connections. You know, Luxury was awesome for me because I got to meet Jason. I got to have better intimate conversations with so many people that I'm Facebook friends with, but I've never met in person. And we sat and we had dinner. We went on a swamp tour, all these little groups that were able to get together and get to know each other better. Now I've got a name. I know the type of person they are. But if somebody gets 10 comments, you might call it cheerleading. I call it, I've cultivated these relationships.
It depends on where they came from, right? That's exactly
right. And I get it because there are people who will just do that. Totally understand. But if someone's name is posted, check them out. Look at Max Center, Google them, Zillow them, check their production. Their name is up there for a reason. And maybe it's just Keller Williams bought people. But, you know.
I do want to throw one more thing in there for agents trying to get referrals. And I don't always do this myself because sometimes you can't. When you are bringing swag, as we call it, to give out, do your best to get your city on there as well if you have room. I get it. Sometimes you might be giving something out small or there's not room because I'll meet a lot of people and there's some agents I know that are great agents, but I forget where they're at. And so
right.
Promote your city as much as you can.
I know a lot of people don't even like to pass out business cards, but
I do.
I do too. And make sure your state and zip code and address are on there, not just your name and website and phone number.
You wouldn't believe how many I got.
It goes
right back to that, Jason.
Your address on your business card.
No, you would be surprised at how many people I met. Nothing. Their name, their phone number, their website, and I'm like,
I had some with no email, and I was like,
yeah.
It's always fun.
But I will always remember Michelle because when I was in the Sky Lounge several weeks ago, her little bee came out of my travel bag. We were playing with it in the Sky Lounge.
See?
Because I will always be here for you.
Right, you were there in my travel bag.
Yes, yes, I love it. I'm the Wonder Woman of Wilmington.
I have women everywhere.
I've spent time cultivating these relationships.
That's right.
It's like my sphere of influence that I spend time getting to know and send out birthday cards. And, that's how I do my marketing here. But Remax has one of the best referral groups I have seen. I was with Coldwell Banker for 10 years. I was at Windermere for 5. I've been here for 3. I've been elite for 2 of the 3. I will be elite again. But figuring out these referral groups and all the Facebook sites, but take advantage of all the events that REMAX offers and the education and the support. Going to these events, you learn so much, but you get to meet people and what's working in their market, what's working in their neighborhood. You get to meet a referral partner that you can connect with. I have probably 2 mastermind groups I'm involved with, and they're small, 10 to 12 people, which is quite lovely. A couple people I didn't know, and they said, hey, Michelle, next Tuesday, can we schedule lunch together? And I'm like, you're in Tennessee. Well, we scheduled a lunch so we could get to know each other since we're on this mastermind. Who are you? How many kids do you have? What do you do? We got to have that intimate lunch together over FaceTime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I give her a lot of credit for taking the extra step. Hey, I see you on Facebook. I follow you. You do amazing things. Can we have lunch? And I'm like, yeah, we can have lunch. So it's taking that extra step to create relationships with agents.
No,
So
you're
back
right.
to the cards for a second. So if you're not giving out swag or anything with your name on it and you're just going and zapping your phone, I am not going to remember your name. I'm not going to be able to find you in my phone. Don't do that. So what I do, which I suggest people do, I have my business card with my photo, of course, and I have a QR code so they can throw it out afterwards if they don't want it. But me personally, when I get back from a conference, I go through my stack of cards. And if there's new people I met that I connected with, I make sure to go connect with them on social media. Because what I'm not going to do, because I'm not rude, when we're at the cocktail parties or sitting in the sessions, I'm not going to go find you on Facebook right then.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention to what's going on. So I want to take those cards and go find you later. And if you don't give me that, I'm not going to add you because I'm going to forget your name.
Yeah.
So that's great. If they don't like cards, I like them. So if you want to catch my attention.
I like cards. I like cards.
And
So
I
I
like
do
to keep those so I
things-
know exactly who I met from which conference.
Exactly.
Yes. And then I take it a step further, Jason. At the end of the night or when I get back, I go through and I'll send them a thank you card. It was really nice to meet you at Luxury. You know, I'd like to connect on social media. Here's where I am. And I put my business card in there again.
I would tell you with that, my recommendation is to do it really in advance or really because after a conference, I will get 50 to 100 notes. And I promise you, unfortunately, I don't read them. So I do read them.
But I don't send them, but I read them.
You read every single one of them?
Yes. I
don't read every single one, but I do read them if they come in early or if they come in late. But when I get them all at the exact same time, especially if you could tell that they're not handwritten.
I still look at them.
Okay, maybe I'm being a little too honest. Write me cards. I'll open them from y'all.
I try to send people a message like, hey, I got your card. Thanks for sending it. So they know
send them a text.
Yeah.
Get in their phone.
I find the people that I've met from conferences, and everybody thinks this is crazy, but they really become my best friends. And it's odd to say that, but you're kind of vacationing together and learning from each other and you build very strong connections. I met Jason, so I think we had said it was 2 years ago at Elite. No, yeah, which one was in Florida? That was 2 years ago, right?
I can't remember which one. I think my most fun was when y'all came to my hometown. I got to take you to all my places.
I loved that too. Yeah, that was for CRS last year, right?
This year, yeah.
Yeah, they all start running together. But in San Diego, I had a referral from an agent in San Diego, and it was for a buyer, and they went under contract sight unseen. So the first time I actually met the buyer was last year at Elite, where it was right outside of San Diego. Where were we for Elite last year, Jason? Michelle? What? Del Mar? It's right outside of San Diego.
Elite last year?
Yes.
It was in California.
Yes. Where the hell was it?
I don't think it was Elite. Wasn't Elite at Marco Island last year as well?
No, it was not. It was in California last year.
It was over outside of LA, or were we outside San Francisco? I can't remember where we were. We were somewhere
Well,
on the
I don't
water.
remember any either, but I met the clients there, wherever it was. We all went out to eat dinner, and that was the first time that I had met them. They had already closed on their home, so I thought that was super fun. But we videoed all the time, and anyway, she's moved to Wilmington now, and she's got a grandbaby and lives 2 streets beside me, so we see each other a lot. But it was fun to meet in San Diego, wherever the hell we were. What was the name?
So y'all already know about my referral idea of what I'm going to do, but I'll tell everybody again. Everybody wants to be on my good side. So when I have my client party next year, I'm inviting my referral agents from out of state to come meet my clients.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
So
So that
then,
Well,
when
I
they-
already told Jason when he's ready, my husband and I are happy to fly out, and I'll have my husband prepare meals while Jason and I have fun.
Oh, can
that
I be
works,
on that
but-
plan?
Well, my husband is a professional chef, so
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, because the neighborhood I've moved into, it's a winery, gated golf club, spa community. There's a resort. They do weddings here, so I can get a group rate at the hotel for all these agents to come in. And then that way, if I have a client moving, I can be like, oh, yeah, remember you met so and so that's in Chicago at the party. They can help you.
perfect. Now I have to find a referral for you so I can get out there.
But, well, no, you don't have to have a referral to do it. You just have to. I haven't finalized everything yet because I don't even have a date yet, but I'm going to probably try not to have more than one agent from the same city. Just not like everybody's going to show up anyway, so it'll probably be fine. I think it'll work itself out.
I think I'm the only one here that you have.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all are fine. It's all my friends in Houston I'm worried about. There's too many. They know I'm sure they're listening. There's too many of them there.
Well, and Florida, my gosh, it's like
Florida too, everywhere.
it's insane the amount of agents in Florida.
Yes. And then Florida too, you have to be careful because some will say they do the whole state. I mean, you just, again, have to be careful that localization. It's funny. I had somebody ask me if I serviced the Outer Banks. The Outer Banks are 6 hours from Wilmington. I am on the coast, but I am not in what's truly considered the Outer Banks.
I cannot help you with the weekend mountain properties either. I'm not going to Blue Ridge or Helen or Dahlonega, so don't send those.
See, that, I mean, you have to know your areas.
Sometimes if I see a request for somewhere in Georgia, I'm like, I don't know off the top of my head, but Jason or Susan, do you guys know anybody in that area? You know, I tag you to see if you know somebody that I don't, to bring attention to you, you know?
But what is crazy, which I'll go back into with these people just grabbing referrals. I had one I got tagged in several months ago that was way outside of my area, and I said no. And there were people who were even further from it begging for it.
That said yes. Mm-hmm.
And what was even funnier is that they don't realize their super key does not work there.
Well,
Dumbasses.
yeah. I have that problem.
Which was part of my super key would have actually worked there because I am a member of another area they're not, but this was going even further into that area and I just don't go there. But good luck.
You know, it's like when people ask me, like even Jacksonville, North Carolina from here is an hour from my house. I've been to Jacksonville one time in my entire life. It's a very high military base. And I've never been, but I've got an agent there I'll refer to. But you know, when people are like, but it's only an hour away, I'm like, but I wouldn't service you well. Like, I don't know anything about the area.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to lie about it.
Well, that's the thing. We cover a huge area where I can drive over an hour to parts of it, but then I don't go outside of it. It's a large area I cover. And if you're not in that area, we're not going to do it. I'm not trying to expand where I drive like 2 hours to get somewhere.
Well, it's not even about the time. It's about like, I'm only able to keep in so much knowledge. Like, I'm not going to pretend to know everything all over North Carolina because I don't. It takes me a lot of struggles just to remember my own areas and everything that's happening in there.
You know, it's interesting. So I just did a girls' weekend up in Idlewild. It's the mountains here. It's about an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours from my house. The cabin I stay at, I sold to these clients about 6 years ago. It's a very small, tiny town. I know it very well. We go up there about 5 times a year, but I have to pass through like Temecula, where Chris Murray and Andrea are. I wouldn't service Temecula, but I would do this little tiny hub town because I go up there all the time and it's smaller. I know the restaurants, I know the shopping, I know the streets, I know every
Yeah.
town. But I'm not going to go to Temecula, even though I passed through it to go to this place. I would send the referral or say, you know what, I'm not going to service that client. Yes, I have friends that live in Temecula, but I'm not going to do the best job they are.
See, and at the end of the day, that's you just hit on the key point. It's all about the clients and doing the best job for that client.
Okay.
And it's super important to recognize what you know and what you don't know. And it is okay not to know some areas. I think it's better to be honest and say, hey, I don't know that area. Let me refer you my friend that lives there.
But I think given the new market that we've been in this year with interest rates, fewer buyers, we have agents that have not been producing like they used to. And they're frustrated. So they're going to take whatever they possibly can, even if it's not in their area.
Yeah, that's when I think lawsuits are bound to happen because I mean, everything that we're expected to know as real estate agents, I promise you, I'm not going to know what's happening in Atlanta. I'm not going to, know what's outside of my bubble, and I'm not going to try.
Atlanta's just huge. Like where my hybrid is, where if somebody wants me to take something that's if I can get there, but it's not my area, my hybrid is what it is. Because we're such a new market, we have these track builders like Pulte that will build the same product all over Atlanta. So if you call me on something that's a little bit outside where I go, but it's a Pulte floor plan I've sold 30 times in other neighborhoods, I know the product of what it is, and it's just a matter of running a CMA for that Pulte subdivision. So if it's something like that, I can do as good a job as anybody else because I probably might even know that product better than an agent in that area if they're a newer agent that hasn't sold a lot of it. Like, because I'll go in and know the same problems. Okay, Pulte had issues with this or this during this year. And so, it's almost like selling a car at that point when they've mass produced these same houses all over Metro Atlanta. So there are hybrid situations. But if you call me like with something built in 1920, which y'all know I like the new, and it's out of my area, nope. Wrong person.
But that's smart. That's good. So in finishing up, what advice you're giving your buyers, your buyers and your sellers in today's market?
Go ahead, Jason.
Buyers and sellers. So sellers, if you do have a really good interest rate and you don't have to move, I am advising they just stay right now because I think rates will start coming down next year. Other than that, I mean, that's probably it on sellers. The buyers, though, because the inflation seems to see no end, I'm telling them if you can buy. And if you don't like it, at least you're in something to make some money on and get into your dream home later on.
Well, because the prices, at least here, the prices are still going up. So if you don't buy now, you might not ever be able to. I mean, if you're worried about the interest rates or the price, you've got to kind of course, it's very much of an individual preference, right?
Well, and the other part I'm sensitive to, I manage 90 rental properties and my team handles most of that, but one of my tasks is valuing the properties. So every month we could have anywhere from 6 to maybe even 15 properties that the lease is coming up to an end. And so I have to let my assistant know, okay, if we were to have to find a new tenant, this is market rent. Then she has to tell the landlord, okay, you're at $1,600 a month now, but Jason can get $2,100. What do you want to offer the tenant on their renewal? So
right.
People, these rates, I have tons of I have properties where I could get $700 a month more if a tenant left.
Wow.
So I know these tenants are doomed. We're nice and we usually go up $50 to $100 a month. But if you don't buy, it's just going to keep going up instead of being locked in on a property.
So I'm giving my buyers the same advice that Jason said. Get it if you can afford to buy, get into a property now. Get some equity, get your feet into home ownership. It's a stepping stone. If you don't like it, wait a couple of years and bump up to the next level. But I have sellers. You're right. If you've got an amazing interest rate, maybe they want to move, but they feel like they're stuck because they have this interest rate.
Yep, that's right.
Some of these loans are assumable. So you have to educate your clients, but then you have to find them one that they can assume. That's a very big challenge. But 50% of my clients over the last 3 years have left the state.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So for California, we've got all these people leaving, and
They're moving here.
that's that's different.
And here.
Here and here and here and here. So for us, it is having referral partners that I know and trust. Okay, where are you going? What part of that state? Let me connect you with a family member. And that's how I phrase it to my clients when they're going out of state. Let me connect you to a RE/MAX family member. And they love it. So, I'm telling sellers, don't wait until spring. Don't wait until here. I don't have that crystal ball. I can't tell you what's going to happen in 6 months. I can give you my predictions with the market, this and that, but just sell. If you're leaving and you want to move, then get it on the market sooner than later, because come January, prices may come down a little.
And you might have an influx, because I've had more and more listing appointments lately. And I tell everybody, like, I know it's happening today, but I quit doing the crystal ball thing when COVID hit, because I used to give everybody my opinion, and I felt like I was pretty much accurate 99.9% of the time. Once COVID hit, I quickly realized that who in the hell knows?
Another thing, though, if you have a client who has the means to get into another property without selling, and they have that good interest rate, look at keeping it as a rental, because the money they could make on that rental could make up for the interest rate on the rest of their home.
Or if they're moving out of state. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to sell, I'm moving out of state. You have that low interest rate. Maybe keep that property for a year to make sure you like where you're going.
That's right.
And we all know the assumable thing is a joke. So I have a listing right now that I'm pretty sure the loan's assumable on, because I sold it to them FHA, but they paid $290 and we're listed in the 700s. So
okay, that's a little different. That's a little different. If they've got the cash to come to the table, there's not that big of a differential, then it makes sense.
So with the inflation we've had, that's the problem. We had low rates, then we had all this inflation. And so to find those properties that didn't inflate and have the low rates, there's not a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed. So overall, if you are thinking of selling, I believe what I heard, go ahead amongst you guys, go ahead and sell now, because we know what the market is now. The inventory is low. People are still buying. They're buying everything they can with the low inventory. And if you're wanting to buy, you better buy now while you can, because prices are still going up.
Well, and if they're nervous about selling, I always tell them, hey, this is what your house is worth. I understand your concern. I have no problem taking you out one weekend to see some homes to make sure you're comfortable with what you could go to.
Right.
And if you're not, we don't sell your house.
That's right. That's exactly right. What about with you, Michelle? Anything specific that you tell your sellers?
If they're afraid to sell now or sell later, I do the same thing. Okay, what are your options? What is it? Why do you want to sell this house? What is it you're looking for? Can we get you into that other property without selling this one?
Right. And I think it's important to say, okay, what is your goal? Like, what's your 1-year goal? What's your 2-year goal? What's your 5-year goal?
What's your 5-year goal?
So if your goal is to be moved, like, let's figure out a plan, right? That's part of our job.
Let's get together and have a plan. Same thing though with buyers. People think, oh, I can't buy. Okay, let's get together and come up with a plan so you can buy in 6 months or a year. You putting it off is burying your head in the sand. And there are some easy things that we can do to fix your credit, to get you into a condo. There are
saving a little bit of money. You're right.
Well, and for any buyers that are listening,
there are still programs here in San Diego where the city will help match your down payment. So for a first-time buyer, there are still these programs out there and people aren't aware. Let's get together and talk about it and come up with your plan and get you in something.
You're 100%
Yeah, and
right.
we've already closed several things with those down payment programs. There's also the 99% loan is back, so you can get into a house with little money down now.
Yep. And there are a lot of those incentive programs. In the middle of September, I meet with Nancy Alert, who I met with for the first time the other day, and she is with Remax in the Washington, D.C. area, but she specializes in all the specialty programs and bringing generational wealth and how to make generational wealth with little money, really, but how to leverage it. So there's good advice out there.
Well, keep us posted on that.
I will. I'll send you some links that Sherry sent me. She was very, very informative. Have you ever heard of hold on, let me see if I can remember the name of it. Something in the black or on the black. Hold on. I'll tell you in 1 second. Operating in the black. I've never heard of it either. It's an investment. It's a group that does investment loans. They loan you based off of how much money you have in your savings account. So the interest rate is a little bit higher because that's how they're making their money. But if you have 100,000 in your savings account, they'll loan you 700,000 on it.
Interesting.
That was one that I had I'm still trying to research it. But there are, point being, there are a lot of programs out there that trying to do some incentives to get people to go ahead and buy more.
Okay.
Very good. So if you have any questions with your referrals, if you have anybody wanting to move or buy in or to Atlanta, Jason is your man, but very specifically, he can tell you exactly which locations in Atlanta.
I need to post a new map soon.
You do need to post a new map, Jason. Yes. And then San Diego, Michelle is your woman.
That's right. I'm your sunny San Diego connection. Of course, it was
San Diego connection. I love it. And you've got the Wonder Woman of Wilmington, North Carolina here. So we've got your whole coast covered. Well, not your coast. You're not in the coast, Jason, but what are you on? The east side? Are we all east side?
No.
Yeah, you're west. I'm geographically challenged. But this evening, I'm like, oh, wait, what?
I'm 6.5 hours from the coast where I won't take your referral.
Are you sure? You could just go for the weekend.
Yeah, I can't get into the super boxes there.
But at least you know that.
Just ask for a code. That's what people have been doing with me. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, you have to be careful with giving those codes out, because we had in North Carolina, not here specifically, but we had appraisers that weren't really appraisers. And it's on docket to talk about at the North Carolina Board of Realtor meetings, because they were getting in and stealing stuff and saying that they're the appraiser and not being the appraiser.
Yeah, our appraisers are required to use CBS codes.
Yeah, agents giving them the 1-day codes is a bad idea.
Yeah, that's tough.
It is tough.
Very scary.
It is scary. Back to using an experienced agent that knows what they're doing and making sure that you are protected, whether you're buying a home or selling a home.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on, Jason. Thank you for asking me to do this with you. Appreciate it.
So you're not nervous. You got over the nervousness. You did a very good job.
Thank you.
She's just going to go copy some more champagne and she'll be fine.
That one was fun. That was a funny video. People liked that one.
I'm going to have to go back and look at your videos.
There are some funny ones, that's for sure.
Yeah, I try to be your friend on Facebook, but I'm at 5,000, which is the max, which I think is stupid. So I'm trying to go through there and figure out who I can delete. But by the time I start deleting people, they get their feelings hurt. So
I did one where it was super quiet in the office one day, and I took a poster board and I stood out, where the homeless people do in between the lights and in the median. And I said, not homeless. I sold all my listings, and I'm out there going, call me. And so that was a fun one too. People were like, what is she doing?
I'm going to have to go steal some of your ideas.
Yes, they were fun.
Awesome. Well, y'all have a good evening.
Well, thank you so much. Look forward to You
Thanks.
both at Elite at Marco Island.
We'll see you at Marco Island. I can't wait.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.